Hey guys, it's Memorial Day today, and I'm actually doing the Bible study for tomorrow. I'm doing the Bible study for Tuesday, which will be May the 27th. And on May the 27th, our reading is from John chapter 6, verses 15 through 27. Now, I didn't do the Bible study from yesterday, so I want to kind of catch you up as to where we are in John 6. John 6 begins with Jesus feeding 5,000 people. And he feeds the 5,000 people, and then he departs from them because they try to take and make him king at that point. They try to make him be their leader. Because, here's a guy who can make food out of anything. He can make food out of nothing. He can take 5 loaves and 2 fish and make food. So we want this guy to be our leader. He can feed us forever. Well, Jesus doesn't want to be made their earthly ruler. He wants to be their spiritual ruler. So Jesus, he departs from them and goes to pray, and the disciples get in a boat and go across the sea. Well, while they're going across the sea, they begin to deal with some problems on the water. So while they're dealing with the problems on the water, here comes Jesus walking on the water. And that's where we are today. It says in John chapter 6, verse 15, it says, "Therefore, when Jesus perceived that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he departed again to the mountain by himself alone. Now when evening came, his disciples went down to the sea, got into the boat, and went over to the sea towards Capernaum. And it was already dark, and Jesus had not come to them. Then the sea arose, because a great wind was blowing. So when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near the boat, and they were afraid. But he said to them, 'It is I, do not be afraid.' Then they willingly received him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land where they were going." Now here's where it becomes very important. Some of the people that had been fed, some of the 5,000 that had been fed by Jesus, got into the boats as well, and they went across the sea trying to follow Jesus. Here's this guy, he's fed them, and they want to stay with him. They want to continue to get that good food. So they go across the sea looking for Jesus. They get over to where the disciples are. They get over there looking for him, and there begins the issue that starts the conversation for John 6. Now, the conversation in John 6 is kind of confusing to some people because Jesus begins to talk about things like eating his flesh and drinking his blood. He begins to talk about concepts such as people being unable to come to him unless it is granted to them by his Father. And he starts talking about unbelief and why people disbelieve in him. So all of this begins with people who come to him, and they come to him and they say, "Jesus, we're ready to follow you. We want to follow you, and we want you to give us food. We want you to give it," because Jesus said, I have a bread from heaven. And they said, "Well, give us this bread. Give us, we're hungry." They think he's talking about something physical, but Jesus was talking about something spiritual. And he says in our text for today, in verses 26 through 27, Jesus answered them and said, "Most assuredly I say to you, you seek me not because you saw signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him." Notice what he's saying. He's saying, you're so concerned about physical things, that's wrong. You need to be concerned about the spiritual things. You need to be concerned about spiritual food. You need to be concerned about those things which matter for eternal life, and get your mind off the temporary. Get your mind off the physical. And that's the lesson for today. That's the lesson from Jesus. Is Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish to show in a way that he was the sustenance for life. He used a physical miracle to show that he was spiritually a king. The problem was a lot of people want the physical blessings of God without having the spiritual knee bent and bowed down to God. A lot of people want God's blessings without God's kingship over them. They want God to give them benefits without him being their king. And that's the problem that Jesus is dealing with now. He's saying, you know what, you believe me, but you believe for all the wrong reasons. You're not really believers. You're just people who want benefits. And that's what we have to think about ourselves. Are we really believers in God? Are we really followers of Jesus Christ? Or are we just people who are looking for benefits? Because really there's more to following Christ than just our glory and our benefit. We follow Christ for His glory and His benefit, the benefit of seeing God's name glorified in all the earth.